Hey, good evening, everybody. How's it going tonight? Texas Redleg here. Hope everybody's having a decent week so far. Looks like it's getting more insane as we go along here day by day. So the purpose of tonight's video is to talk about this cancel culture that's currently trending in the United States and actually around the world. So this is pretty much their way of using propaganda and I would say sort of jackal mentality, gang mentality to intimidate, harass, and to financially harm people that disagree with their agenda or their ideals, their persuasions, lifestyles, etc., etc., etc. I'm specifically talking about the left. We all know who they are, and they're doing it right in front of our face, so it shouldn't be a shock to you with what's going on if you're paying attention. So with regard to cancel culture, maybe we need to get in the game on that. You know, they claim to have this moral superiority over us, the people that don't agree with them. You know, they claim to have the moral high ground. So maybe we need to, you know, give the left a little bit of their own medicine and see how they like it. And you know, I don't always agree with coming down to somebody's level, but it's probably time that we in the freedom movement get our hands dirty and be prepared to get muddy on this one. So maybe we need to give them some of their own medicine and learn to push back, people. Get pushed back or get overran. That's pretty much how this is going to work. You know, bullies are pretty tough until they get popped in the mouth. This is eventually going to boil over, okay? And you need to be prepared to stand your ground. Yeah, and I'm not talking about middle of the road, you know, liberals that are reasonable, you know. All liberals aren't, you know, necessarily involved in this cancel culture, but this little band of Karens that we have now and Carls is really pathetic, to be quite honest with you. I mean, these people are straight up snowflakes. If we ever have a real disaster in this country, like a depression or massive blackouts, etc., these people are going to come absolutely unhinged. They cannot function. With hardship, they're not going to be able to function. So keep that in mind because, again, like I said, it's going to boil over and you need to be prepared to stand your ground. We all do. Now, depending on where you live, it's probably way worse than other places. Where I live is, it's still, you know, it's fairly, I would say, red or leaning red in most places, except the big cities. So the cancel culture is really big in the populated cities of my state, which is Texas. The big cities, the Dallas, you know, Austin, San Antonio, Houston. The big cities are ate up and run amok with this cancel culture and just general snowflake, you know, ideas and just utopia society and all that. But generally speaking, the big cities in Texas are majority liberal, and that's putting it nicely. But be prepared to stand your ground, people. The days of keeping your head down and just walking by, you may not be able to get by with that. You know, it depends on where you're at and who you're around. These people like to operate in packs, like bullies do. They like to make a lot of racket. So, you know, you might be running into that somewhere, wherever you're at out there, and just need to be prepared to handle yourself. And one thing I want to discuss lastly here is there's a lot of people that are in situations where they physically can't afford to leave, and change their location or pack their stuff and move. Some people just are unable to do it from a financial standpoint and or maybe a medical issue. Um, but if you're unhappy with your situation and you can't change the politics or the lifestyle that people are leading in your community, and it's not something you're happy with, then you need to be prepared to change your situation. So if you're unsafe, if you feel unsafe, if you feel left out, if you feel alone, if you feel like there's other places in the United States that are accepting of you and your family and your lifestyle and your the traditions that you want to uphold, and maybe you need to try to pack up and go to those places. If you're unable to change the actual place that you're in to better you, better for you and your family, safer, then it's probably time to pack up and leave. If these whack job liberals want to have this utopia where they're at, and we all see it running amok, and it will run amok. The Seattles, the Portlands, etc. Let them do it. You don't have to stay there. So I would be prepared to pack and move if that's something that you're not able to live with anymore. If your taxes are too high, if the criminal gang and the criminal element is too dangerous in your area, if it's something you're not content with and you just aren't going to be able to change it, the writing's on the wall. You know how people vote. And so if it's been that way for 10, 20 years at least, you might want to think about, picking up your roots and replanting them somewhere else, because there's a lot of places in this country that are going to be in really bad shape in a really short amount of time. What the left doesn't understand is by overtaxing their constituents, they end up leaving, and you end up with no tax-paying constituents. So that's how short-sighted they are, and it will come. So anyway, try to keep those positive thoughts, and if you got a situation where you just aren't happy and need to make a change, look at other places that are friendly to your beliefs and lifestyle. So keep prepping, stack it deep, long live the Republic.